You're listening to the Conference Board of Canada's Mental Health and COVID-19 series with Dr. Bill Howatt, Chief of Research, Workplace Productivity.
Hi, Bill Howatt, Mental Health, COVID-19, Conference Board of Canada. Welcome, the end of week 8. Still in social isolation. I sent an email a few minutes ago laughing with somebody in a comment making about, after 8 weeks by yourself, pretty soon I might need to go buy myself a fish if I can't get my bulldog here soon to visit me. So we're all being in a process. And today I want to talk about fatigue. It's time to make sure that we're normalizing that you may feel fatigue. I know myself personally for the last couple of weeks, I've been energetic and I've been pushing myself and I following a mental fitness plan and I've been following things through and I realized that one of the things when I'm listening to other people, we've got to be conscious to give ourselves a bit of a break in this process. And this is why I'm going to talk to you today about fatigue, because there might be some things you may not have thought about or knew about in regards to fatigue. For example, you may not have known a couple of things. Like, for example, Zoom fatigue is a real issue. People who are operating through this medium, they need to use their foci vision versus a peripheral vision. And what's interesting, we have what's called um, a default mode network that our brains are normally wandering about 46.9% of the time based on what research is out there. And lots of people, regardless of what tasks they're doing. But when you're in a social setting, you can kind of tune out and people can kind of interact. However, have to work a little bit hard because they're looking at 5 or 6 different people on a screen waiting for trying to figure out who's supposed to talk. So we're actually need to put more Broca's horsepower into this. The other thing that's happening is we have the extra function that's being added to our life. It's like an overcoat, like wash your hands, go to the grocery store, the process of cleaning, the process of ensuring that you're taking care, that you're not spreading contagion, the process of realizing that, it's important you put your mask on, but some other people may not have the same value construct. And now you might start having to listen to some people making commentary. We're in a very interesting sociological point in time. So with that, it's expected that you're going to have more fatigue, and that frontal lobe is going to be really working hard because of this extra function of being in a pandemic, the worry that comes with the pandemic, the worry about catching contagion, the worry about having people you care about catch the contagion, the worry about you spreading the contagion. So there's these things that are happening, plus the financial worry, plus the relationship. There's all this extra variable as we start to go through this new norm. So the question is that if you're starting to feel some fatigue, give yourself a break. That's normal. The question is, what are you going to do to start to be able to prepare some framework for how you're going to be able to compensate and cope? And some strategies, like for example, sleep hygiene right now would be really helpful, ensuring that your routine of going to bed at the same time you can, possibly paying attention to getting up early in the morning, or not necessarily really early, but what's comfortable for you. So if you go to bed at 10 and you wake up at 6, or if you go to bed, whatever works for you, just trying to create some consistency to ensure that you're getting good sleep. That's really important right now. From a mental health perspective, there may not be anything more important for you than getting quality sleep. The other one, believe it or not, is your hydration level. It's we will have a tendency, lots of folks, that will be when they're feeling a little bit fatigued, they'll be picking caffeine beverages over water beverages. So coffee's a dehydrator, kind of dehydrates us. So it tastes good and you think you're getting it. But what happens is we might actually be taking too much caffeine in that can actually create short, like a burst of energy, but then we crash and then people keep going, and that may not be the best thing. So monitoring your caffeine intake, upping your hydrogen, like your water, because we need that. Where most of our bodies is made up of mostly water, and making sure that we're replenished. Our bodies work better with lots of nice fluid and water in it. The other thing, believe it or not, is to burn energy to get energy. It's interesting with human beings is that we're somewhat sedentary and sluggish. Uh, the time you don't feel like doing that little exercise routine on the internet that you have, or going for that walk or that bike ride or that stretch or going through that, that's when you actually will find it will help you get some more energy is by burning some energy because of the environment. Lots of us are caught in smaller spaces. We're not into our routine, our habits, and our drive. So what's happening is interesting having external events like going to a recreational baseball game, that obligation void is there right now because we don't have those commitments or that Saturday morning golf game or doing things with the park dates with the children and those types of things that are important. So that would be a couple of ideas for you to consider around offsetting it. The big message I want to give you as you start to roll into another weekend, as we start to get ready for week 9, and week 9 will be different than week 8. We'll be learning as we start to hear more about what the opening of is and how we're going to move through this process. But COVID-19, be clear, hasn't gone anywhere. You're going to see people, or we're going to hear news is going to go down. Then you're going to hear that all of a sudden there's going to be some spread. This is until there's a vaccine. This is not over. And what's going to happen is we're going to go through a process that's going to be draining. And I realize it's like hurry up and wait. But I'm telling you from my experience in doing this, if you do any research around disaster management, fatigue is something that will start to happen and start to prepare for fatigue. That's one of the reasons why I'm a big proponent. I'm doing mental fitness activities and focusing on mental fitness so that we're doing things with intention with our mind, body, and our social connections to be charging that battery. So as you're going through this weekend and you're starting to engage in some activities, be mindful. If you could get sleeping a little bit more or rest a little bit more on the couch or grab a little cat nap or spend a little time, give yourself a break and allow yourself to rest some. There's nothing wrong with rest. Fatigue is an impairment. We have to remember that when a person has fatigue, cognitive impairment can impact and create issues in regards to mistakes, can put you into risk for safety if you're driving your car. It can create distraction. And understand, even with the best intention of best rest, our brains are wandering all the time. And when our brains are wandering all the time, it's because we're the only species on the planet that can be thinking about, tomorrow, planning for tomorrow, planning and work. So all the anticipatory anxiety, the planning, that neuro default mode is working really, really hard. That's why I'm saying that Broca's region, we're working really hard trying to anticipate what if this, what if that, and that takes energy. And that's maybe why some of you are experiencing some more fatigue. I know I'm grateful today is Friday. I'm excited about going for my walk today, and I'm excited about just getting lost in a book and doing some walks this weekend and working on a new book that I can't wait to get up tomorrow morning and start writing because that's how I relax. We all have our passions that we can dig into that can help give us charge. So with that, a couple ideas for you to consider. I'm going to wish you a peaceful weekend or early next week. Whenever this video comes up, wishing you a good day. All the best and take care of yourself. And we'll be continuing to have our conversations. And I appreciate all the support I'm getting from all you out there. I'm really, really grateful and humbled by some of the notes you're sending. So thank you very much. Keep it up one day at a time, and we'll get through this. Take care. Hi, Bill Howatt here. Hopefully you're finding these videos of some value. If you'd like to share these, on the lower right of your video, there's a icon you can click. You can send it through your social media feeds, join the Conference Board of Canada social media feed so we can keep you up to date. And if you have ideas, suggestions, please leave your comments so we can consider them. And if you have things that you'd like us to speak to, I certainly will try to do all I can to help out. With that, have a wonderful day.